Hello and welcome to another episode of A Brief History. Today's episode, Super Mario. Mario! Woohoo! Ready, set, let's go! July 9th, 1981, a new arcade machine arrived in game halls everywhere titled Donkey Kong. Developed by Shigeru Miyamoto and published by Nintendo, Donkey Kong was a smash hit game that literally saved the Nintendo company from dying out. In the game, you lead a tiny carpenter named Jumpman through treacherous obstacle courses in order to save your beloved from a giant ape named Donkey Kong. Sorry that I'm talking so fast, but I've got a lot to cover in a very little amount of time. The game Donkey Kong was very successful and it spawned multiple sequels. Some were very good and some were just... Soon, Jumpman was given a human name, Mario, as well as an occupational change, a brother named Luigi, and a new game called Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers hit the arcades in 1983 and was yet another success for Nintendo. A few years later, the video game market had crashed thanks to the huge dive in the quality of home console games. I'm looking at you, E.T. But it was around this time, in the mid-1980s, that Nintendo released their first home console, the Nintendo Entertainment System. And packaged with that console was a cartridge that contained the games Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. This game was revolutionary, and it single-handedly pulled the entire game industry out of the gutter. It was that good. Following that was the ever-controversial Super Mario Bros. 2. The real Mario 2 was released only in Japan, and the US release was scrapped for being too difficult and being too similar to the first game. So what we got in the US was the Japanese platformer Doki Doki Panic, painted over with Mario colors. However, for the third Mario release, Nintendo went back to the original template, and not only that, they refined it to perfection. In the early 1990s, Nintendo released its second home console, the Super Nintendo, and just as the NES came with Mario, so too did the SNES. Super Mario World was the main SNES launch title, and it was an extremely creative twist on the now classic Mario formula. It was also the first introduction of Yoshi to the Mario series. The early 90s gave us the first ever Mario spin-off games like Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, and Dr. Mario. In the mid to late 90s, Nintendo made the jump to 3D with the N64, and in the grand Nintendo tradition, Mario came along for the ride in the magnificent Super Mario 64, the first ever true 3D Mario game, as well as being the first game in the core Mario series to give Mario a voice. It's me, Mario! Hello! The N64 also boasted some classic Mario spin-offs like Mario Party, Mario Tennis, and Mario Kart 64. But now, we hit a bit of a change. The Gamecube, Nintendo's least successful console, was the first Nintendo system ever to hit retail without a true Mario game. Instead, they launched the Gamecube with Luigi's first ever solo game, Luigi's Mansion. Yep, the first ever Luigi solo game. There were no others. Nope, no others. Eventually, the GameCube did get its Mario fix thanks to Super Mario Sunshine, yet another controversial title, but then again, almost every major franchise game from that generation was controversial in some sense. There were spin-offs, and then in 2006, Nintendo released New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, the first in a series of retro-styled Mario games. The game spawned 3 follow-ups on 3 different consoles, Wii, 3DS, and most recently, the Wii U. 1 year after the release of New Super Mario Bros., Mario fans were hit with change like that guy from One Direction got hit in his woo-hoos! That is just perfect. In 2007, Nintendo released Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii. Galaxy contained a seemingly endless stream of fresh and creative ideas and has been praised as one of Nintendo's best releases to date. And apparently, Nintendo still had some ideas left over because in 2010, Super Mario Galaxy became the first 3D Mario game to get a direct sequel. To this day, Super Mario is still the most recognizable video game character in history. Aside from just the core series, he's appeared in spin-offs, crossovers, cartoons, spin-offs, a movie that most gamers agree never to talk about ever, and of course, spin-offs. Did I mention the spin-offs? Yeah, there are spin-offs. Anyways, that's all I got for you this week. I'll see you then. I'll see you then? Later. DFTBA.